Hello everyone, Chef Eliot again, one of our chef de cuisines here at the University of Washington. And today we are going to be making marinated beets with a chive and goat cheese cream and pistachio butter. Here are our ingredients that we have from our UW farms. We have our beets, some thyme, some really nice garlic, flat leaf parsley, and some chives. So we'll get right into it. First off, we're going to be cooking the beets. So we're going to take our beets right here. We're going to wash them up already. So, as I said before, always wash your produce, no matter where you get it from. So we're going to put these right in our little 2-inch pan right here. And then we are going to drizzle on half a cup of olive oil. Okay, just like that. 2 tablespoons of our garlic. Just kind of drizzle them, pop them right on top right there. About a quarter of a bunch, or about 2 tablespoons of picked thyme. Right on top. Here. And then 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. We're just going to kind of mush this all kind of just around, and so everything gets coated. Make sure all the flavors are combining together properly. Nice rubbed right here. Sprinkle that stuff right back on top. All right. And now we are going to cover this and put it in the oven at 400 degrees. Depending on the size of the beet. The larger the beet, obviously the more time it will take. These beets right here, for this size, probably take about 45 minutes to an hour. Depending on your oven. So you can tell when they're done is when you stick a knife in and it slides right through, kind of like a potato. You would check to see how that is done. Kind of the same principle. You stick a paring knife in it and it goes right through. We're done. So I'm going to cover this up and put these in the oven. All right, so we have our beets. These are cooled and peeled. When they came out of the oven, I've always found it easiest to peel the beets when they are still hot. You just take either a paper towel or a cloth that you don't mind getting stained red, and you can just kind of rub the skin right off when it's hot. It usually peels right off, very easy. Much preferred to like peeling it with a peeler or a knife or anything like that. But the key is to do it pretty much close to when it comes out of the oven or while it's still hot. So we're going to set these right here, and we're going to make our marinade. So for our marinade, we are going to be taking 1 cup of orange juice. Right in like that. 1 shallot. That we have peeled and sliced into rings. 2 cloves of garlic, also from UW Farms. Right there, just roughly chopped. Oh, sorry, this is our half a cup of honey. I'm going to put in right here. A 2 teaspoons of red wine vinegar. And 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we're just gonna whisk this together just until the honey dissolves. Shouldn't be too long. And then we'll get going with that. Get all the honey on the side there. All right, now we're gonna chop up our beets. And so for this, or at least for this presentation, the beets, we're gonna cut them up pretty large chunks. This is going to be kind of an appetizer, so the beets are kind of the main theme, so they want to be kind of large and prevalent. We're probably gonna cut this into about 10 different pieces. Actually, we'll get all of this going here. Such good color on these beets. And then just keep going on all of these so they are nice and marinated. You can do this up to a day in advance. You can do it in the morning before you want to serve it, or you can even do the day before, cooking the beets and then just having them marinate overnight. That will be good. You do want to do, I would say, a minimum of 2 hours ahead of time to get them in the marinade, so that way they have time to absorb all the flavor and everything like that. All right. And so we'll just give these kind of a gentle toss right here just to kind of mix them up and mesh them around. And then we are going to cover these and refrigerate them. So here are our refrigerated beets, or our marinated beets, obviously coming out of the refrigerator. The beets have definitely dyed the marinade, so all of the orange has disappeared and is soaked in, and so all the flavors have kind of come together very nicely. So this part is done. We're gonna put this off to the side and we're gonna make our goat cheese cream. All right, so for our goat cheese cream, we're gonna start off with our chives from UW Farms. It's going to be 3/4 of a cup that we have finely sliced. Put those right in there. We are going to do 1 cup of goat cheese. Also 1 cup of heavy cream. We are going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. And a 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper. Now I'm going to hand whisk this. Feel free to put this in any sort of food processor if you like. I would say you want to add the chives after you have mixed the cream and the goat cheese together in the food processor. If you add the chives before you mix it up, it'll turn just green. That way, you know, if you add it in later, it avoids everything turning green. Or if you hand mix it, it won't turn it up so much that the whole thing is green. So we will just whisk this together. All right. So pour this guy out just like that. Put this right in the bowl like that. We'll put this off to the side for later. All right. Lastly, we are going to be doing our pistachio butter. It is kind of a, not so much a peanut buttery kind of butter. It is going to be pretty chunky, but it should be really good. So we have first our pistachios. I have roasted these off beforehand and cooled them down. It is kind of key in this process to have them cold. You don't want to do this right after they're out of the oven. When they're cold like this, it keeps them from pureeing, so you don't have peanut butter or have that creamy consistency. You have just lots of small chunks as opposed to an actual cream. So I'm going to add this right over here. To our Robocoup. And I'm going to grind this to be pretty fine. I'm gonna grind it and not talk so you can actually hear me. But we're going to grind this till it's pretty fine, or as fine as this sort of blade can go. So here we go. Here we go. Just like that. All right. So now I'm going to want to add some liquids to it. We're going to be adding a half a cup of lemon juice. A half a cup of white wine. One tablespoon of sugar. And 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. So now it is time for the emulsion process. So I'm going to kind of explain this to you and then kind of do it so I don't have to yell. But basically, we're going to turn this on, and I'm going to slowly drizzle this oil in, kind of like we're making a dressing or a vinaigrette, sort of the same principle. You kind of want to slowly drizzle this in while the Robocoup is on. If this starts to break or it looks like the oil is separating, you would want to add like an ice cube or two to help cool things down. That's why the pistachios were cold to start off with. So I'm going to emulsify things, so I'll be right there. So, that is what we are looking like. So, I'm going to take this guy out, a spoon, a little bit right in here. All right, and it is time to start putting things together. So, take our nice fancy dish right here. Take a little bit of our goat cheese cream that we made. Right there. Next, we're going to take our pistachio butter. And then finally, it's time for our beets. So we're probably gonna put about 7 or 8 beets just right on top of our little dollop of pistachio butter. Just like so. And then finally we're gonna garnish with just a little bit of our parsley that we got from the UW Farms. Right on top right there. And there we are. It's our marinated beets with chive, goat cheese, cream, and pistachio butter. Thank you very much.